tracking milestones of an incredible journey spanning 30 years. Rahman Music Sheets. Rangeela, the debut Hindi film of A.R. Rahman, dubbed in Tamil and Telugu, described as Rahman's most radical soundtrack for Hindi cinema. It found the right balance between innovation and eccentricity that became Rahman's forte in coming years.
The aesthetics of Rahman, for example, in terms of, I would take an example of, let's say, on Kya Kare Na Kare song in Rangeela. In the music, that why this one string comes. Now, that is something which is so characteristic of Munna's character in the film, you know. Now, it's not that I had major discussions with Rahman about the story of the character and all that. So, it's so instinctively he puts in one sound, you know, which would become almost like a signature. That is not a melody, that's not a hook line per se, okay. So these kind of effects, he will put something which become a memorable, almost like, you know, item scenes in a for want of a better word, in a film.
क्या करें क्या ना करें ये कैसे मुश्किल है कोई तो बता दे इसका हल ओ मेरे भाई.
And then the groove, the way he will, the kind of grooves he uses are so unique, and they have an emotion by themselves, which I very rarely see happening with any other music director. Because the groove is very cold in a certain sense of the word, because it doesn't have a melody, doesn't have a memorability, but something about Rahman's grooves, it just hits you like, you know. And I never heard strings being played like the way he gets them played. So I think, and to treat each and every instrument, no matter how little it is in the song, whether it is playing along with something else, you distinctly understand its role in the song. There is nothing which is not needed. There is nothing which comes in like a filler. One more unique thing, once he told me, he always concentrates on the third BGM which comes after the first antra. Because he said by the time the song will have a tendency to repeat itself. You heard the introduction, you heard the mukra, you heard the antra. So, and then the song, most songs will become. So, but the moment you make the third BGM very arresting, the interest in the song grows again. But most music directors, they use BGMs like fillers. They just want to, Arey kuch kar do, after that, you know, it goes off. So, I think the tremendous passion and giving respect to the smallest of details, and this doesn't stop even with the orchestration, even in the correcting the pitches and the tones and the final mixing, the levels of which instrument should play at what level, and that all that he does it by himself. Because of that, he only hears them being so pure, because he is so pure as a person.
Do you think his dedication and passion has a direct relation with his spirituality?
Rahman's spirituality, I don't know if I can comment on it, because I myself am an atheist. I don't believe in God. But the fact that he's so concentrated on just two aspects, one is his spirituality and one is, of course, his music, I think that automatically says it cuts down on all the other avocations a normal person might have. I'm sure that works a lot, you know. But the passion in the music, I am saying it, in terms of the various variety of music he does or whatever, which is not like he does spiritual music. And there is an inherent brat also in him. You know, there is a certain mischievous quality in Rahman, which you hear it in some of Shankar's songs, and you know, he used to do that a lot earlier, not so much now. And I think a combination of that directly is not linked to spirituality in that sense, you know. Because for me, if it's only spiritual, I would expect him to be one of these classical musicians, which is not the case. He can get into pop, he can get into anything for that matter.
esteemed ambassadors of Indian music, with a rich repertoire of classical creations, are acclaimed internationally. But by touching popular chords, A.R. Rahman created new milestones.
Take it easy, taxi. ஊசி போல உடம்பிருந்தா தேவையில்லை pharmacy. Mustafa, don't worry Mustafa, காலம் நம் தோழன் Mustafa. Day by day, வாழ்க்கை பாயும் day by day, முழுகாத ship friendship தான்.
Rahman clicked with the popular thought process internationally and he became a part of popular culture. What would you attribute it to?
Rahman just cutting across layers, because that aspect of him, you wouldn't think he's the same guy can do, let's say, the music of Ma Tujhe Salam, for instance, and then to Jai Ho. I don't think a Pandit Ravi Shankar can ever even dream of doing something like Jai Ho. You know what I'm saying? So I think just cutting across layers and getting into any territory or any emotion or if with any kind of a taste, that is like a maverick or something, which is the reason I think his reach has been far superior compared to any other musician from India.
You work with Ilaiyaraaja too, and Rahman also used to work for him. What difference do you find between both of them?
See, I would say, I would come back to the same thing. Ilaiyaraaja probably is very fast, and in terms of there's an attitude in his music which is very different for those times. It used to break lots of this thing, But in sheer presentation, in aesthetics, for want of a better word, I think Rahman's aesthetics are beyond compare to any music director. It's like this, there is a content which could be the melody, but like if we say the fantastic photography, art direction, costume, makeup, this is what aesthetics which would decorate the content in a script, And because of the aesthetics, probably even a normal composition will sound so fantastic. I think that would be the primary difference, I would say. But I don't think Raja sir's melodies are presented in the same with the same quality of aesthetics. That's what I would like to say as a layman, not really being trained and understanding music per se.
Do you think that this quality of Rahman, the way he embellishes his entire track, that found him his ground there?
See, I would like to believe every decade or so, someone will come and change the rules. And I think one had experienced Ilaiyaraaja for nearly some 10 to 15 years before Rahman came onto the field. And I think, like I said, the sheer difference in sound, In fact, I remember Rahman telling me this once. He said, melodies anyone can make, fine, good melodies, great melodies and all that. But I wanted to create a new sound. The packaging for the melody is where the whole thing takes a new turn,
The second film you did with Rahman was Daud. How different was Daud music, say, from Rangeela?
See, for me, on a sheer experiment, music eventually comes from a situation, where Rangeela had a strong story, the characters, there's a love story, there's a relatable drama, and music coming from within that is what worked. But I feel only in experimentation, for me, Daud music is far superior. But because the picture didn't work, they don't come from real situations and real characters. They're all fantasy, they're all very designed for effect, And because of that, I think on a success level, it might be lesser. But for me personally, I like the songs of Daud much more than Rangeela.
And you haven't worked with him since Daud?
No.
Any specific reason?
No, there's no specific reason. The point is, one is I stopped making musicals. One reason. Second reason, in terms of Rahman's time, his busy schedules and me staying in Bombay and, that whole aspect. So, but I would like to go back to him the day I feel that I need him. No one can accept, because I need to respect the music what I'm intending to make. Only then I think one deserves to go to Rahman.
Rahman's debut Hindi film, Rangeela, wasn't merely a turning point but became a milestone in his career. No wonder he expresses his gratitude to Ram Gopal Varma by saying, "You have been an integral part of my journey and I won't have been the same without you." In our next episode, A.R. Rahman joins us to talk about Ram Gopal Varma. Rahman Music Sheets will continue to track his incredible journey to superstardom, connecting you with his creative partners, also engaging with musicians he inspired. If you have reinterpreted or recreated Rahman's music, share your videos. If selected, you will get featured on Rahman Music Sheets. To submit your videos, log on to our website o2-india.com.